Manchester Storm arrive in Nottingham for the second half of this Cup semi-final. A goal to the good and looking to reach their first ever B&H final. The Nottingham Panthers have won the Benson & Hedges Cup twice, but they are ravaged by injuries again. What chance of them progressing to Sheffield in early December? It's the Benson & Hedges Cup semi-final, second leg. At the Nottingham Ice Stadium, it's the Nottingham Panthers against the Manchester Storm. Manchester, a reminder, leading 3-2 after that first leg. Let's get straight to the action in the commentary box for us, Bob Corral and Steve James.
The deciding game, and we're set up for an exciting showdown between the Cup's most successful team, Nottingham Panthers, and this season's leading force, Manchester Storm, aiming for their first ever final. No surprises in net for the B&H leader. Robbins is in the net for Nottingham. Peter Angelo for Manchester. Big hitting Corey Boglio starts on D for the Panthers, who took 18 minutes of penalties in the first leg. Mitchell took 14 minutes. Haddon is the joint leading scorer in all competitions with 26. Storm starters include Allard, who scored in the first leg. Askew and Tomlinson both got assists in that game. And the referee for this important second leg is Andy Carson, who's got a reputation for plenty of whistle. It will be interesting to see how he handles this game, especially if it's another physical encounter on a very small ice pad. That's what we're expecting. Manchester Storm have themselves ahead by 3-2 after the first leg. So they're in the pole position at the moment, and Nottingham Panthers, especially with that short bench, you can be sure will go out hard from the start, looking to get themselves back on level terms as quickly as they possibly can. Manchester Storm know they're likely to be in for an intense opening few minutes of hard work. And the crowd here in Nottingham is so vociferous as well. That will all add to the pressure on Manchester Storm. They certainly have plenty of bodies and they have plenty of composure. They've shown that throughout the course of this season so far. And they certainly will have that tested in the next few minutes of this game.
Well, I think that the Nottingham Panthers, Steve, will be looking for a very quick start in this game. Psychologically speaking, that first goal would be awful big if it came their way.
Referee Andy Carson might play a big part in this one, Bob.
Well, you know, after the penalties that were called in the first leg of this series, Steve, you know, I think that perhaps the league officials sat down and said, listen, this is going to be a tough encounter. There's certainly something to play for here. So let's make sure that we get this strong officiating and put it into place. Let those players out there decide what's going on.
Manchester winning that face-off. That's going to be an important element of this game, where there's so little room out there on the ice. Manchester looking to see if they can test Robbins early on. He had a good game, both netminders, so strong, both had good games in the first leg. Peckerberta just trying to drop it for Jamie Leach, who scored twice in the first game. Colsar thought he might have some support, but there was nobody there. Bishop with a big shot. Manchester Storm with the puck behind their own net and looking to try and see how they're going to come out. And a hit there from Graham Garden. That's the way Nottingham are going to play it. They certainly are going to play it physical. That's the way that it's going to suit them, especially in this small ice rink.
Well, I know we spoke to Kirk Kleinendorf before the start of the game, and one of the things that he said is Manchester Storm are going to concentrate on is defense. That's what this team thinks up first. Despite the fact that they've got so many offensively dominant players, they want to make sure they take care of things defensively, and especially in their own zone.
Some good checks going in already in the opening 2 minutes or so of this game. And a touch there for the icing as well. Well, Nottingham are no strangers to injury crises, are they? It's really an annual occurrence. Just back in the side, number 44, Corey Boglio, but still missing from the blue line, Jeff DeCosta and Steve Carpenter, along with forwards Steve Roberts and Randall Webber. Greg Haddon is the league's top marksman. But captain Jamie Leach is the Panther with the most points in this competition, 14, including both goals in the first leg. And Corey Boglio involved in a big incident at the end of the first game, for which he took 16 minutes of penalties.
Well, wherever Corey Boglio goes, he creates some controversy. But like you say, that's the purpose of Mike Blaisdell signing a player of his physical presence. That's the way they want him to play. They want him to play physical.
Well, Manchester, in contrast to Nottingham, are at full strength once again. 17 out skaters compared to Nottingham's 13. They have a full complement of 3 defensive pairings and a 1 short of 4 full lines with 11 forwards. 23, Pierre Allard scored one of the first leg goals, whilst Brad Rubachuk scored 2 on Monday and was involved in that late incident with Corey Boglio. 17:28 still left on this first period. We've had a couple of minutes so far, and so far a couple of saves for the netminders to make, but no real golden opportunities for either side. But the intentions of both sets of players very clear. There's not going to be any shirking from checks in this game.
You know, and you mentioned that small ice surface, Steve, and you know, I was reading the program before the start of the game, and you know, the players sit there and they say, hey, the small ice surface, there's nowhere to hide out there, so you've got to come to play tonight, and it's going to be true gut performance. We saw it in the first leg of this series. Not too many pretty goals, mostly get in there, get at it, drive to the net hard, and create scoring opportunities.
This is Leach, scored 2 in the first. Puck drops off the netting high behind the net of Frank Pietrangelo. Jamie Leach with such a good record in this particular competition. The top B&H Cup goal scorer in the last few years, in the Super League era. 27 goals from 31 games before this one.
Well, Mike Blaisdell is certainly going to count on Jamie Leach in terms of his game plan. I mean, he had 2 big goals for him in the first leg of this series. Again, Mike is looking for a player to come up, step, take the big grade, and help his team out here.
Face off, this time won by Nottingham. They will look to pepper Frank Pietrangelo. Will be interested to see if he can be in such good form as he has been throughout the course of this season. He really has been very, very impressive, Pietrangelo. Came from Bolzano in Italy, where he was playing last year. He has NHL experience. He played for Pittsburgh when they won the Stanley Cup in '91, so he's got a ring to show for that. He was then traded to Hartford, and a very impressive record.
The other thing about him is they say he practices the same way that he plays a game. He tries to stop every shot out there. This guy is keen as mustard, and I'll tell you, he just thrives on big games like this. You watch him get hot.
Takes a certain kind of hockey player to come up big in big situations. Kolsar is a man for the big occasion. I'm sure he's got good NHL experience too. He's out there. Mitchell goes down. The penalty's been called. It's going to be a power play for Nottingham Panthers. A tripping call. In fact, it was interference, I think, was the call. Roy Mitchell went down.
Well, this is the type of game I think that the Manchester Storm want to play. We noticed the other night, Mike Blaisdell, I thought, did a tremendous job. He had a short bench, and he tried to slow the game down, and he did a great job for 2 periods of it. But you notice in the third period, things started to speed up a little bit. There was no stoppages in play, and that's when the Manchester Storm were allowed to get going. That's when the bench strength, if you like, 20 strong guys, really starts to take advantage, Steve.
And we saw a while ago Pietrangelo, it's Trevor Robbins, but at the other end we saw Pietrangelo coming out of his net to keep the puck alive, because that's in Manchester's benefit, isn't it, that they can do that?
He is, and he was doing that in the third period very much. And that's one of the things that Kurt Kleinendorst asked him to do. He said, listen, guys, we didn't have a lot of success when this game was stopping and starting in the first 2 periods. Let's keep the puck moving. And that's part of the goaltender's job to do that.
With Garden and Hunt. Unconventional, but it worked for Manchester Storm. With big Rob Robinson. And he's back up to skate back and take control of the puck again behind his net. He's brought down by Bobbitt.
There's a good opportunity to have a look at turnovers. You see the strong forecheck happening by the Panthers there. And of course that puts pressure on the Manchester defense, gets them to cough that puck up, and you get turnovers deep in the zone. And of course, good scoring opportunities for Nottingham.
Puck is frozen against the ice, and one or two players thinking about getting involved in a fight there. The referee quickly told them to cool things. Hunt was one of the players that might have lost his temper. Zukuski, he's taken a few penalties as well since he's come here, but no penalties this time.
Well, one of the things that always happens when you got games back-to-back is these players keep their memories going, and there's certain things that happen in the first game that they like to finish off in the second.
Well, after the big showdown between Rubachuk and Boglio at the end of the first game, Corey Boglio's kept himself quite quiet, kept a low profile so far in this particular game. He's on point at the moment, waiting for this face-off if Haddon can get the draw back to him. No, Manchester's puck on this occasion, into the boards, into the corner. Now it's Boglio facing Brabant. Got the shot, comes back into the boards. Plenty of Panthers around there. Robbins fell on the ice, and again tempers just starting to flare a little at this moment. There's Boglio facing up to Hurley and Jablonski.
One thing that definitely does not change, I just spoke about that earlier on, there's big Darren Hurley. He's the guy in front of that net. He's trying to cause controversy. Robbins doing a good job here, though, going from side to side on the net there, and boy, what an aggressive goaltender he really is. I'll tell you, he's in that net there, and he's like on fire, man, you know, and he's moving around there. He doesn't want anything to go past him.
Trevor Robbins has conceded just 1.86 goals per game in this competition so far. Brabant going in for this face-off for the Manchester Storm, up against Haddon. Two experts in winning the draw. On this occasion it's Manchester with Jablonski who come away from it. And Newmeyer almost lost it, but they kept it in the zone. They keep the pressure up. Nottingham happy to clear the puck out of their zone. Now this time maybe they'll be more constructive when they come forward. Zukuski finds 80 on the far side, gets it across to Haddon. Didn't quite make contact as it came across. He threw his stick at it, but wasn't quite to be.
There's a good example of coming off the bench. You've got to make sure you pick your man up. Manchester on a quick change there themselves, and Paul Eadie left all alone. Just bobbled that puck, otherwise he did an excellent scoring opportunity. He likes that area to let that shot go.
Well, Luke's coming forward now, just drops it for Eric Dubois. Big defenseman coming forward, back to Leach, who gets it in, and that wasn't too far wide, just a save from the stick of Peter Angelo.
We speak about Jamie Leach and that quick shot. That wasn't any better than any I've ever seen, you know. You never know when he's going to let it go.
All sorts of pressure, and that was a big miss by Tomlinson, because the netminder was out of position. He was beaten, and Tomlinson, I guess it just came to him too quick at the far post. Big first real chance of the game.
Well, Chris Miller, he's a great offensive defenseman, and he made a good heads-up play there, seeing Tomlinson on the wide side of the net. Unfortunately, just eluded his blade of his stick a little bit, and he couldn't get enough mustard on it to put it in the net.
Well, if Manchester could get the first goal, that would be so important for them, because it might just silence the crowd. It would just reinforce the fact that they are the side that are in the driving position, and of course, importantly, it would give them a 2-goal lead and increase the mountain that Nottingham Panthers are going to have to climb in this game. 3-2 in aggregate. No goals so far in this second leg of the Fensham Hedges Cup, a place in the final at stake. And it's been a quick period so far. We've had a couple of penalties, but the puck's been moving a fair amount. Plenty of pace to this game, plenty of aggression.
We can try and follow this, the defensive partners on both sides, especially the Manchester Storm. If one of them's got the puck, look for the other one to try and elude the forechecker, to give the guy with the puck a little bit more time to do something with it. That's a good defensive play. Again, Andy Carson will be watching that. He doesn't want an interference call there. So logic is the play, but good work by the Manchester Storm, because this rink is small and you got to have a little more time out there.
Zukuski coming in strong on Mike Morin there, who was already held up against the boards by 80. Oh, he's left free on the blue line, and Ruben Chuck broke his stick with the power of the shot, but couldn't beat Robbins. Kelly Askew so quick and such a good goal scorer, but it is noticeable that Manchester actually do spread their goals around fairly well.
Yeah, well, they don't have anybody that's any particular sort of star, but Askew's come to the forefront. Played in Frankfurt last year in a DL, Steve, and that certainly helped them.
Was with Newcastle for a season before he went off to Germany, Kelly Askew. Puck around the ball, back into that corner again. The stick has gone down. It's Mitchell's this time. And Robbins, to react quickly there, wasn't quite sure what had happened to it once he blocked it. Mitchell back up on the ice. He's got his stick again. Another shot came in so quickly. And another penalty being called here. And it's a high stick penalty. And we're going to have another power play opportunity. Mark Colsar will come off, and it's going to be the Manchester Storm with the second power play of the evening for them. The third minor of the evening, high sticking against Mark Colsar.
Well, Mark Colsar, he's a guy that they count on too in times in terms of specialty teams and power play. There you see it in the play, just holding up Manchester Storm player. And of course, Andy Carson right there to make that call. Colsar certainly brings a vast value of experience to this Nottingham Panthers side, having played in a Leafs organization for a number of years, and the guy's got a good heads-up game about him as far as I'm concerned. I think he's an excellent passer, and we saw that the other night in one of those nice little cross-ice passes that had to hit the right spot for Jamie Leach to score one of his goals.
Well, the wings are not staying far enough apart, I don't think, at the moment for this face-off. Actually, at the moment, Manchester are 11-7 ahead on winning the draw, but this time Nottingham Panthers do win it, an important one as well, since they were in their own zone and they're a man light, with Colsar sitting on the penalty bench. 5 minutes to go. The first goal in this game could be very, very important with Manchester ahead if they could get themselves a bit further ahead, whereas Nottingham so keen to get themselves back on level terms on aggregate in this tie. Scott was Bobbitt throwing himself on the ice, trying to block the shot or the pass, whichever it was going to be. Well, Dubois, there's going to be another penalty here, and Scott there is penalised, so that's the end of that particular power play.
Well, Blair Scott, he has to make a decision here. There's no one behind him. If Dubois picks that puck up, he goes in alone on Frankie Pieterangelos. So he pulls it inside him because he alleviates the breakaway and he feels that's the right move. I'm sure Kurt Kleinendorf will give him his endorsement on that one, but he gets to delay a game call.
Kurt Kleinendorf, great thinker on the game, and has really got a team together this year that is working so well together as a team.
Well, last season was Kurt's first in the Super League and in Britain, and you know, he's the type of guy that certainly learns from experience, and you can see what he's done this year and the type of team that he has in fact put together. They're certainly a more physical side, they're more well-rounded.
4-on-4 out there, it's a goal! Tomlinson has scored! Storm are ahead on the night, 2 goals up on aggregate. It's now 4-2 to the Storm.
Well, a bit of the same medicine that the Panthers have been given to the Manchester Storm on the forecheck. If you like, they all count, but this one went in like a pinball. Kelly Askew creating a turnover. Over to Jeff Tomlinson, and I think that took a bit of a rebound on one of the defensemen. Changed direction and beat Trevor Robbins.
Kelly Askew with the assist, Tomlinson with the goal. The only goal of the night so far, but there's been 6 overall on the tie, and now it's a 2-goal advantage, and suddenly the crowd will have to get behind Nottingham, who are going to have to throw a lot more forward now. It's that much more urgent for them. 4-on-4 out there. The puck loose around the edge of that crease. Shortly they're going to have a fairly short power play opportunity, Nottingham, when Colsar served his penalty before Scott sees the end of his 2 minutes. Rollins takes the puck.
We have another opportunity, Steve, to have a look at that goal by the Manchester Storm from Trevor Robbins' point of view, and you can see it kind of catches him funny there and changes direction, and it gets through his 5-hole. Obviously, his gap between the legs here, and I'm sure that went off of Mike Bishop, and as a result, Jeff Tomlinson gets himself a big goal and gets the lead for the Manchester Storm.
Tomlinson and Askew both picked up assists in the first game. Askew has got himself another assist, and Tomlinson has got the goal this time. 1-0, and we have 3 minutes and 12 seconds left on this period. And Colsar is back out there, so that means it's now, for a brief spell, a power play for the Nottingham Panthers. And there's another penalty call, a hooking call. It's going to be more good news for the Nottingham Panthers. There was a hooking call, and Rubicek's not happy at all, but he's going off.
Well, Brad Rubicek on to Forchek, being aggressive on this penalty kill, but perhaps a little bit too aggressive, and as a result, he gets the hooking call. Sometimes that's a difficult one. If you keep your legs moving, the referee has a bit of leniency on you there, but Brad Rubicek, that's how he plays the best.
Brad Rubicek took 2 minutes at the end of the game, the first leg in Manchester on Monday night, in an incident when Corey Boglio took 16 minutes. But Brad Rubicek himself is no stranger to taking lots of penalty minutes. Of course, now it's 5-on-3, so we've got a 2-man advantage, but not for much longer. Nottingham trying to take advantage of this 5-on-3 play, and they're doing quite well here if they can just manage to get out in front. Scott is back on the ice. It's back down to just the single power play, just 5-on-4. And in the end, Peter Angelo has the puck.
I'll tell you, every time we see this fella, I get more impressed with his glove hand and the way that he uses it. It's almost to the point where maybe he tries to favor them out there a little bit. But I'll tell you what, he slides along the ice with ease. He gets his body in front of the puck, and of course he's got that quick glove hand that's going to pick up any loose stuff. And I'll tell you, that's a dynamite combination.
So Nottingham, given that 5-on-3, weren't able to take advantage. They still don't have the power play. It's still 5-on-4. They need to win this one. They need to get a goal back. We're running out of time in the first period. They started the game 1 behind. They're now 2 behind. Leach gets it in there. Zakuski was so close there. Peter Angelo, though, stood up strong. The puck behind that net. Nobody on the point this side for the pass. Hoffman coming forward for Manchester, then just plays it into the corner so they can take a rest. They're off to change their lines, and Nottingham starting to build a game. Less than a minute to go on this power play.
Well, the Manchester Storm showing a lot of discipline on that penalty kill, making sure that they get that quick change at the right time. As soon as the puck goes down in a Nottingham zone, those guys are off the ice, and fresh forces come back on.
Just 2 shots on goal so far for the Nottingham Panthers in this spell of power plays, including that 5-on-3 and now the 5-on-4, which is just 20 seconds to go. Mitchell gets it, tried to get it into the park there, Roberta. Mitchell cycles the puck again. Comes out, though, of the Manchester zone.
I think we're very much aware, aren't we, Steve, the strength of how strong the players are out there. As soon as they see somebody with that puck, they're on them right away. They're giving them very little time. They're using this ice surface to its smallness, to the advantage, and it's working.
Boglio just bounced over Verta's stick. It's an uneven ice surface here, and that happens a lot. it was to the disadvantage of Nottingham on that occasion. It's Manchester coming forward. They got bodies there as well in the slot, but Askew goes back around again. Gets the puck in low. It's taken though by Nottingham Panthers. The power play opportunity is up. Nottingham Panthers have just 29 seconds left to do something about this first period. Puck around the rim, it comes back in. Oh, missed a touch by Hunt. Saved by Peter Vanslow by his positioning rather than anything that he knew about. Leach in the tangle with Askew. And the first period is almost up, and it's been a good one for the Manchester Storm. That's the end of the first period. There's some pushing again. Mike Blaisdell, wonder what's going through his mind at present. Kurt Klein-Dorst is more concerned about what's happening on the far side. That's Rick Brabant just in front of him as well. But one goal in the first period, it was for Manchester Storm, and that means they now lead by 4 goals to 2 on aggregate. Analysis coming up after the break.
The players will be back after this short message from our headline sponsor. We know it's interrupting the interesting bit, but bear with us. We think you'll like this. Do you have a mortgage? Are you thinking about getting on the property ladder? Would you like to check if you could pay less on your monthly repayments? Then why not talk to Nottingham Mortgage Services? When you get mortgage advice from us, we won't just find you deals offered by only one lender. We search thousands of mortgages from over 60 lenders to find the right deal for you. Visit thenottingham.com to find out more or request a call back. Everything can be done from the comfort and convenience of your own home. Now back to the Nottingham Panthers.
The Nottingham Ice Stadium, second leg of this semi-final between Nottingham and Manchester. At the end of the first period, Manchester leading by 1-0 on the night and by 4 goals to 2 over the 2 legs. Our special guest is Don McKee from Sheffield. Don, a very quick and pacey start to that game. Were you surprised by that?
Well, these teams really want to take over where they left off in the other night in Manchester, and I felt that they haven't forgot about how their feelings were then. They come out, they played a physical period. Nottingham especially were really taking the body to the Manchester team. I thought Manchester dumped the puck a lot, trying to wear down the defense on Nottingham, knowing that it may pay off in the third period. But a great period of hockey, very balanced period of hockey. The penalties were fairly even, the play was even, shots were even, both goaltenders played very well.
What Nottingham, of course, needed, Don, wasn't it, was an early goal. They had an early chance. Let's take a look at that about 5 minutes into this period.
Well, one of the things that I was impressed with Nottingham was Graham Gardner and how hard he was working. And you will see Graham come here to the net after making a play behind a Peckenberta. He waits for the shot from the point, and he just misses the rebound in front. He had a great period, and I thought he and Simon Hunt were 2 of the better players for Nottingham.
Don, you talked about the small men in the game and how they would benefit from the small ice that we've got here. We saw Stefan Ketteler with a good chance for Manchester shortly after that.
They're a little quicker, they can get to full speed a little bit faster, and here was an example of Stefan Ketteler going through, breaking through the defense, causing a penalty, getting a power play for his team. It was a great play again by a smaller hockey player. They love this little ice surface.
Well, one man who certainly made his mark on that first period was Jeff Tomlinson. We'll see the goal in a minute, but he also had a very good chance in that first period before he scored the goal.
Well, Jeff Tomlinson and Kelly Askew, I thought, were the best 2 Manchester players. They made it pure hard times for the Nottingham defense, but you'll see the puck come to Chris Miller here at the point, and Robbins got cut out of the net, similar to the other night, and Kelly Askew's on the back, or Jeff Tomlinson's on the back door, and the pass came there. He'll be kicking himself for missing that one.
Yeah, but he won't be kicking himself about scoring the goal, obviously. He took it well.
Well, he sure did, and they came right back, and he and Kelly Askew were responsible for this 1-0 lead. And they got a turnover, a mental mistake, and the big thing is get rid of the puck quickly in this rink. It was a bad goal. It went off a defenseman's skate. I really feel sorry for Trevor Robbins. He had a great period, and then to have a bad goal scored on him, he's going to have to really rebound in the second period.
Okay, well, let's hear from the man who scored the goal. Jeff Tomlinson is talking to Nick.
Jeff, you guys pleased with that first period? Yeah, I think we're pleased. We set out at the beginning of the game to just win every period, and that was the case. We won 1-0 that period, so we just got to keep winning right to the end.
Nottingham said they were going to be concerned with the speed of the Manchester forwards. Obviously, the speed there caused that goal, didn't it?
Well, yeah, we do have a lot of speed. That is our strength, and they know what they have to do to counter that, and they're trying their best, but unfortunately, that period they made a couple mistakes. We had a couple good chances. Frankie was superb, like always, so that was the case.
You guys are 2 goals up, but that isn't enough with 2 periods to go, is it?
No, it isn't. We got to win every period. We didn't come in with that 1-goal cushion. We didn't look at that at all. We just got to win every period. That's what it comes down to.
Thanks a lot, Jeff.
All right, thanks, Nick.
Thoughts of Jeff Tomlinson. Don McKee, how do you think that Mike Blaisdell will approach this period then?
Well, I don't think he's going to change his strategy much. He wants to continue to get down and forecheck hard on the Manchester defenseman. I think he's going to ask his guys to shoot the puck a lot more, try to create a little bit more physical play, because he wants to get Manchester in penalty trouble. Remember, Nottingham's got an awesome power play in this building, and if they can get a chance 2 or 3 times, they'll be back into it. Don't ever think that Nottingham isn't very confident that they can come back. They've come back many nights in this building.
Don, thank you for now. There is another semi-final taking place, of course, tonight. It saw the Ayr Scottish Eagles, the defending champions in the B&H Cup, going to the London Arena to face the London Knights with a 6-4 advantage. This is what happened in that first leg tie up at the Centrum.
Over the shot, Scott Curtin has scored the first goal. London are ahead. Oh, there's lots of room for Boglio. Still Boglio. Oh, that's an equaliser for Ayr. It's 1-1. Hoffman finds a way through somehow. And Byron finds the net. Early second period pressure pays off for Ayr. Will have to be careful. Montanari gets away. Oh, great hands from Boglio. That's his second goal. Ayr's third. That's a great effort by Burgess to keep the puck in the zone. That's Byron. How do you like that? 4-1. London on the power play. Stoltz shot. Lots of bodies. It's in. It's in. Greg Gatto has got the touch for London. They're responding well to London's second goal. Wolf again. Can't get it in. Montanari can. Mark Montanari. Ayr have a 3-goal lead. Breakaway for London. Harding to Gatto. Riendo leaves the net empty. Eakin scores. And Riendo wonders what happened. Shot. Riendo's lost it again. It's in. London well and truly back in this game now. 5-4. Good sighting of the puck for Ayr by John Parko. That's St-Pierre. It's 6-4 to Ayr.
So Ayr taking a 2-goal lead to the London Arena for the second leg of that semi-final. Let's find out what's going on down there. Russell Hall has the details.
With the defending champions carrying a 2-goal advantage into the return leg in London, the Knights were looking for a good start in front of their home fans. But it was Ayr who got the first goal, Sean Byram taking a great pass from David St. Pierre and snapping it past London netminer Mark Cavalin at 16:41. Then just seconds after the restart, Mark Wolf made it 2-0 to silence the London crowd. So after a promising start by London, the first period has ended with the Ayr Scottish Eagles leading the Knights by 2-0 and 8-4 on aggregate.
So the defending champions, Don McKee, looking in pretty good shape to make it to the final there. Can you see London in any way coming back from that?
I think it's going to be really difficult. Ayr plays with a lot of confidence when they're up in a hockey game, and they have some great snipers in that team, and it would show in the replays from the game on Monday night, and again, they're off to a good start. It's a tough challenge for London. They're playing a little bit short also with regards to players, but I know that they did come back in that rink once before in the last 2 weeks, so let's not count them out.
Okay, well, we'll continue to keep you in touch with what's happening down at the London Arena. Here, of course, Manchester are leading 1-0 on the night, 4-2 on aggregate. We'll find out by the end of the night who's going to be at Sheffield for the final early in December. You can be there too, pens and paper at the ready. also you can win a VIP package for two to come along and enjoy the B&H Cup final in some style at the Sheffield Arena Saturday the 5th of December. And what we want you to do is to answer this question. Who scored the winning goal for Ayr in last season's B&H Cup final? Was it A, Rob Dotson, B, Jamie Steer, or C, Jeff Hode? Who scored the winner in last year's final? Rob Dotson, Jamie Steer, or Jeff Hode? Your answers, please, to our competition hotline on 0660 116606. That's 0660 116606. You can also find details on page 344 of Sky Text. You need to be 18 or over to enter the competition. And don't forget, if it's not your phone, please do ask someone for permission to use it. Good luck with that. Don't forget, if you can't get there to the final, Sky Sports will be there. Here in this semi-final encounter, Manchester leading by 1-0 on the night. What chances of the Nottingham fans making it to the final now? Do not write them off. They have a proud history in this competition. We'll be back with the second period after this break.
The players will be back after this short message from our headline sponsor. We know it's interrupting the interesting bit, but bear with us. We think you'll like this. Do you have a mortgage? Are you thinking about getting on the property ladder? Would you like to check if you could pay less on your monthly repayments? Then why not talk to Nottingham Mortgage Services? When you get mortgage advice from us, we won't just find you deals offered by only one lender. We search thousands of mortgages from over 60 lenders to find the right deal for you. Visit thenottingham.com to find out more or request a callback. Everything can be done from the comfort and convenience of your own home. Now back to the Nottingham Panthers.
The second leg of this semi-final tie between Nottingham and Manchester still finely poised, with Manchester leading 1-0 on the night and 4-2 on aggregate. And Don McKee, our special guest, we talked about what Mike Blaisdell might be doing in this second period, but how do you think that Kurt Kleinendorf from Manchester will approach it? Will he try and just shut out the game now?
Well, I think Kleiner is taking the same attitude he did the other night, or approach. He wants to win every period. He doesn't want his team to go into a defensive mode, win this period just like he did the first period, get a goal, and we'll just go from there. And I think his team is going to be really focused. I thought they were focused the first period. He does a nice job of keeping them on his game plan. And the only thing to watch this period, it's a tough rink to change in the second period. Defensemen will have a terrible time getting off the ice. That could cause some trouble.
Okay, thanks, Don. Now let's go ringside for a quick word with Nick Rothwell.
Dominic, Nottingham just coming onto the ice behind me. They're down, 13 men. They've got their backs against the wall. 2 goals on aggregate they got to come back on. But an interesting stat for you is that out of the 16 games that these two teams have played against each other, the team that scores first has only won 3 times. So that's quite interesting, because normally we put a lot of onus on the team to score first. But if we were to go by stats, we'd say that Nottingham have a real good chance of coming back in this game. Whether they can win by 2 goals, we'll see.
Well, we certainly will. Second period coming up for you. Let's go straight back to the commentary box to Bob Carroll and Steve James.
Well, I wonder if that statistic will come into play this evening. Certainly another one is the fact that of the last 5 games between these two sides, 4 have been decided by just 1 goal. There's been 1 draw. It's going to be close. Which way is it going to fall? This is a very important period for... There was Mitchell, the assistant coach. There's Mike Blaisdell, the coach of Nottingham Panthers. Very big period for them coming up, Bob.
It is, but Blazer, I'm a big Mike Blaisdell fan, and I know that you are as well, Steve. The thing about it is although, he's on the bench and he's coaching, I think he has a tremendous feel for the ice, although he's not on it. He gets a real implication of how the game is going, and, I think that reflects in the way that he motivates and coaches his team.
Well, I can remember Mike Blaisdell when he was player, coach and captain of the Nottingham Panthers, scoring a hat-trick in the final when Nottingham Panthers won against Cardiff by 7 goals to 2. They won it twice under Mike Blaisdell. They've been in 3 finals. They've only ever once not made the semi-final in the 7 years of the competition. It's kind of their trophy in many ways, and they certainly aren't going to give it up easily to the Manchester Storm, who've never yet been in the final of the Benson and Hedges Cup. Tomlinson takes a tumble, manages to get up and keep the puck alive though. stuck in that Manchester zone early in this second period. Nottingham, they really do want to get a goal as soon as they can. Oh, Bishop was so close. Peter Angelo, great stuff.
Well, again, that trailer coming in late, and the job of the forward there, marking that defenseman, is so very important, and usually you have your back to him, so that's what makes that call so very tough.
Another great save, this time at the other end, Robin Maskew. Not away yet, Scott tried the shot, it was blocked. 80, this second period shows no sign of slowing down from the first period. 18:39.
Well, we got a couple of penalties, don't we, Steve, from that first period. There's Dave Morrison going in on an unsportsmanlike conduct call, and on the other side, Corey Boglio. Both players in a bit of an altercation at the end of that first period. A lot of talking going on, nothing really mustered up, but players sitting in the box and cooler heads prevailing.
2 minutes for both sides, and those minors coincidental, which is why we're still playing at the moment. An even-handed situation. And Colsar coming forward. Mr. AD. A bit of pushing and shoving there as well. And the referee trying to sort that out.
One of the big important factors in a game of this nature, and we've seen it a lot tonight, is a transition from defense to offense. And it certainly happened there a couple of minutes ago with both goaltenders having to come up with very huge saves. Frankie Pietrangelo, again, showing great concentration. And Trevor Robbins, well, he's not going to be outshone, certainly not in this game. And I think Don McKee hit it on the head there. You know, it was a bit of a bad bounce that eluded him in the first period to give the Manchester Storm their first goal, but nonetheless, it was a goal.
Still playing 4-on-4 at the moment for another couple of seconds. And then Boglio and Morrison will be back out there on the ice. Back to 5-on-5. Offside the call. A couple of Panthers players in there before Colsar took the puck over. This is only one of the semi-finals, of course, that's happening tonight. The other second leg is also taking place. And now Ayr are 4-0 up in the London arena. A hat-trick for Sam Grollo, who got a couple of goals in the first game as well. Aggregate 10-4. Sorry, I think that was Mark Wolf who got the hat-trick tonight. I do apologise. Sam Grollo, of course, did get 2 goals in the first game, but Mark Wolf with the hat-trick tonight, and it looks like it's going to be Ayr in the final for one of these two sides. Who is it going to be? Is it going to be Manchester? Is it going to be Nottingham?
Well, the Ayr Scottish Eagles perhaps getting off to a bit of a slow start this evening, playing a lot of hockey early on with their European League competition, but they're starting to find their form now. And the London Knights side, they've got a good club too there, so you can just imagine the type of pressure that's being applied.
Well, this is an opportunity now on the breakaway. Wow! He stayed well on his post there, did Trevor Robbins. Still not away, still got more work to do. Now the breakaway at the other end. Hunt fires the big one in. Well, it's non-stop at the moment, plenty of action. And you wonder if the Nottingham Panthers can keep this up all the way through the game, and they have to step things up a little because they're trailing at the moment. They'll want to get that goal as soon as they possibly can to get themselves level once again on the night, but still a goal behind even once they score one, of course. They do need to score 3 goals, Nottingham Panthers. It happened in the twinkling of an eye in an ice hockey game, but dangerous times as the back goes forward. Penalty's been called. Penalty has been called against Bishop. Hooking the call. It's going to be another power play for Manchester Storm.
Well, this is one of the most difficult plays for a defenseman. Look at Rick Brebedt here, switching the momentum of the play, and that lateral movement of Mike Bishop going the other direction, and of course, he's got to hold him back there. Brebedt not able to get the shot on goal, and Mike Bishop picking up the hooking call. Once again, we've got the Storm going on the power play, Steve.
Exactly what Nottingham Panthers would not have wanted at the start of this period. especially since it's one of their defensemen and they only have 4, so now they're down to 3 real defensemen, and Mike Blaisdell has to decide how he's going to work that one out.
Well, you know, again, you know, there is such a thing as a good penalty, if we can call it that. But there you see the power play percentages of the Manchester Storm, and you know, these guys, they can move the puck around. You'll note you got Jonathan Weaver out there playing defense. He's out there because of his offensive proneness. He's got a good head-up skill to the game, doesn't he?
14.3% there for Manchester Storm in the Benson & Hedges Cup. In the Super League, it's 33%. Altogether, much better record of power plays. Solskjaer is out there now, forward playing on D at the moment. Weaver almost got a chance there and almost saved up as well for Brabant, who was involved in the initial penalty and is involved in a bit of pushing again as Robbins makes the save.
Well, some good anticipation by Jonathan Weaver playing defense there on this power play. Jablonski doing some good work behind the net. The puck pops loose. He tries to get the wide guy there. That looks like it's Katola. And of course, Trevor Robbins having to slide across that net and make a huge save.
Puck right down to the other end. Nottingham Panthers more than happy with that. Just ease a little bit of pressure. That's part of their game, especially because they are going to be up against it in terms of fitness and keeping up the pressure in this match. But they come forward quickly. Didn't quite work out there for Blair Scott. Couldn't keep it in the zone. Nottingham now will just look to perhaps waste a little bit of time. Just get this penalty played out. So Haddon gets it back. Robbins keeps it in play. Puck goes over the plexiglass. Off the ice service. We'll stop with 1:13 left on the power play. 15:59 in the second period. 4-2. Manchester Storm still on that power play.
Mark Pulsar, what a great signing he's been for the Panthers over the summer months. I know they were sure keen to get him. And, you know, he's got a lot of good, solid experience and leadership skills, and I think that that's really going to help the Panthers, certainly as they get into the stretch of the season. You can see guys like that, boy, do they come up big, huh, Steve, when your bench is short. They carry their weight in gold, I can tell you.
Offer to Tomlinson. Now Manchester will look to set up a man. Passing lets them down again, though. I wonder how much that does have to do with the uneven surface here in this game, in this ring. Garden rather to Ady. Almost got caught out there, Manchester Storm. It's their power play. Nottingham scored a short-handed goal in the first game, remember. And also a power play goal. And they're leading 2-0. They were leading 2-0 in this time. Now they're 4-2 down in this time. So quite physical out there at the moment. Nottingham making sure they finish their checks and don't allow any room for Manchester as the puck again goes onto the Manchester bench. 17 seconds left on the power play.
Corey Boglio showing his physical presence out there, finishing his checks off. Again, that makes it difficult for the Manchester Storm team, doesn't it? Because it gives them little or less time to do something with that puck.
315 penalty minutes, less than 100 games played.
I just saw you point at that on the screen up here, Steve. Well, that's what the guy's all about, I'm afraid, and it's effective. It works, and it's the type of player that you do need on your team.
He was at Sheffield last year, and there's Nottingham 14, Manchester 13 in shots at the moment, so slightly ahead in the second period, equal in the first period, 1 goal so far.
Again, I think we're looking at statistics, Steve, that are very, very consistent and very level, even on both sides. No real upper advantage here.
Well, Nottingham have now killed off 10 opportunities. No power play goals you can see this evening. They've killed off 10 opportunities over the 2 ties. 10 power plays they killed in the first game on Monday night, and now this one. And Nottingham 53 times short-handed. They've conceded just 1 goal.
Kurt Kleinendorf's quite happy to, I think, plod on there. I know his team certainly created some pressure on that power play. Perhaps not as much as they wanted to. Seemed to be having a bit of problem down in the far corner to our left, where that ice is getting a little bit wet down there. And of course, it makes it more difficult to pass the puck.
Well, it's been that way for years and years. I'm sure you remember playing on this rink, Bob, and wondering exactly what the puck was going to do at times. Another call. It's going to be a power play for Manchester, a slashing call on Marco Sten. Marco Sten, number 27, is going to go. No, in fact, I've got that wrong. It's the wrong way round, actually. It was Haddon that was called. In fact, what I'd missed was Sten. Sten is correct. He is coming off. It's not going to be a power play because Haddon had elbowed before that slash, presumably. So it's going to be a penalty to both sides. Haddon gets the penalty for elbows and Sten for the slash, as I originally said. So that's one to each side, Bob.
A one-on-one confrontation. Marco Sten signed, former teammate of Dave Morrison and Bruce Eakins in Kassel in the German DEL. Here's the confrontation as we do see it. Haddon going ahead, finishing his check off. Sten didn't like it and retaliated.
So once again, we're now going to be 4-on-4. And in a tight rink like this, not much room normally. I suppose we just have a little bit more room, but that means more hard work for Nottingham.
Well, it dwindles your players down ever so much more, and again, you've got to expect more out of them. More ice surface to try and move out there, and you've got to skate. There's no other way of getting out of a scenario like that. Rick Brabant doing a good job really to get in the position he got into. I think he was on his backhand. He obviously wanted to do a little bit more there because he had one of his guys driving for that net, hoping to pick up potentially a rebound.
Brabant going in with Garden. Manchester win the draw on that occasion, and they are ahead on winning face-offs in this game. Very important, of course. Nottingham this time, though, can come forward. Suddenly Garden realises he's got scope, and it was almost a 3-on-2 breakaway for the moment, but lost control of the puck.
Well, that was a real opportunity. You got it in one, Steve, and the fact that you had two Manchester players caught very deep in the offensive zone, allowing the Nottingham Panthers to break out on a 3-on-2.
Garden again. Nice little drop pass from Leach back to Mitchell. Gets it in towards that net, and it's taken. And there's a fight with Scott behind the net. Scott and Mitchell going for each other, and they calmed down quite quickly. Boglio was coming in to get involved as well, and fortunately for Nottingham, he didn't. But two more players going off for roughing, I would imagine. Well, 2 minutes each for roughing.
Physical presence being the key to the game here. Again, Mike Blaisdell telling his guys to finish their checks off. Peter Angelo's coming up with a huge save, and just behind the net there, the Blair Scott Morris incident. Rick Brabant showing a lot of composure there not to come back on Graham Garden, but I don't know if he saw that play at all. I think we've got two roughing calls on either side. Blair Scott taking the one. And I would have thought that Roy Mitchell's going to go off on the other side.
Roy Mitchell just taking his time to get to his position. So we've got Mitchell joining Haddon. Sten and Scott are on the other side. There's two players from each side now sitting down. And so it's going to be more time. In fact, he's called those as coincidental. Look, very close. 12-12 penalty minutes. It's been even, and I think Andy Carson, the referee's done a reasonably good job so far in this game.
Well, I give him my support, but nonetheless, you know, it's a very tough game, and, you know, physical presence is certainly a concern, and you've got to play that way if you're going to be successful in this sport.
Those penalties traded against each other. We're still at 4-4 out there, 4-on-4. More hard work for Both sides, but especially Nottingham Panthers, if they're feeling the pace yet. 1-0 down in the game. 4-2 down in aggregate, remember. They have possession, and they're looking for a way through. Leach finds it in, the rebound comes out, there was nobody there, Miller was there to cover for Manchester Storm.
Well, Frankie Pietrangelo once again comes up with a huge save, and you heard Jeff Tomlinson between intermission saying he's the key component to our lineup, because anything that gets tight in there, he seems to come up big for them, gets them that save, and of course, as a result, the guys gain confidence. 58% though in that Nottingham zone. That's really the only statistic we've seen so far this evening, Steve, that really isn't even.
That's this period so far, and Nottingham really do need to be taking the game to Manchester, and yet at the moment it's going the other way. So Mike Blaisdell's got a few problems. Bricklebank going up against Colsar for the draw, and the former Toronto player wins it on this occasion. And nonetheless, there's a shot just slightly off target there, and it's going to be Manchester that will come away with it, with the defenseman Newmeyer tried to drop it for Weaver. Comes out of the zone though, they'll have to come back and start again. Here's Newmeyer once again on the puck, finds Weaver this time in centre ice. Rising young side, couldn't quite keep his feet on that occasion. Berta with the shot, and Sten straight off the penalty bench, and this could be an opportunity. Good covering by Haddon, who was also straight off the penalty bench as well. The two players involved who finished their 2-minute penalties. And both, especially Haddon, doing the job well.
You know, that's some good defensive work there by Greg Haddon, because Sten comes out of the penalty box, and you've really got to be focused right away, because the Manchester Storm are going on to the offense there, and unless he gets involved in that, his team is outnumbered in the zone, so he's got to get right back into the play, and I think he did a superb job there to stay focused.
Back to 5-on-5 now, although Scott and Mitchell, Blair Scott for Manchester, Roy Mitchell for Nottingham, are still sitting out their penalties for a little bit of roughing.
And of course, both players, as you say, Steve, sitting in a penalty box where we've got a 5-on-5 situation, so before they can come out, we'll obviously have to have a whistle blown there, which is something we don't see very often.
Manchester getting it out from the face-off. Going to have another face-off in that Nottingham zone.
Well, the
Mike
Panthers
Bishop at the front there.
That's right. You know, the Panthers, of course, both teams having two players in the penalty box. We speak about 20 guys in Manchester's lineup. Steve Carpenter and Mike Blaisdell looking around who's going to go out next, because they have 13, and of course with 2 in the penalty box, that's now down to 11. You can see extra pressure on the players they're having to play.
Manchester dumping it into the corner once again. Back around those boards. Sometimes here in Nottingham you're not quite sure whether it's going to grin right around the boards as you'd expect it to. Kicked away by the netminder. Their zone yet. Maybe giving the puck away to Hurley. Chase here for Tomlinson. Hasn't got much support going around, and Boglio's keeping him in tight check. Just pulling him back there. The referee allowed that one to go. Boglio thumping it out around the boards, and it comes clear into neutral ice. Hoffman straight back around those boards. Just kept in, was it? No, it came out of the zone, so offside is the call. Almost halfway through the second period. 11 minutes still to go. 4-2. Let's get some thoughts from Sheffield Steelers coach, our guest here this evening, Dom McKee. Dom.
Well, it definitely seems to be going in Manchester's favour. The fatigue factor in Nottingham is really big at this time. I think that the penalties have hurt them slightly, but they've been hitting from the drop of the puck in the first period, and that physical game is going to wear them down with only 13 skaters. Manchester just seems to keep coming, and they roll their bench over, and I think it's going to be a tough challenge right now for Nottingham.
They're doing a very, very professional job at the moment, Manchester Storm, aren't they?
I think they are. They're showing a lot of composure as well. There's a chance to look at face-offs. Another statistic that, you know, is very much coming into prominence this day and age because it gives players or a team an opportunity to gain possession of that puck. You've got possession of it, you can try and do something with it. And it also means the other team doesn't have it.
Brent Bobick was trying to go through the middle, no way through. They've got some very solid defensive players on the Manchester side.
Brent Bobick, he's a great skater too, Steve. I mean, I like this guy. Former Montreal Canadian draft pick. 4 goals this season. And I'll tell you what, you know, you can see him get ahead of steam up in there, especially when he goes on that forecheck in the power play. The guy is very, very effective, certainly in terms of specialty teams.
And he's a great, a player of great spirit as well. He was actually dropped from the lineup after the first season, but then got another chance to come back and play and earned his place now in his 3rd season with the Nottingham Panthers, Brent Bobick. Halfway through this second leg, halfway through the second period, and Manchester Storm leading by a goal after the first leg, and now leading by 2 goals as Newmeyer comes away with it. Plays it in low and is picked up for Nottingham by Eric Dubois. So Manchester Storm are in the driving seat. Nottingham Panthers just need to ignite things a little again. If they could get a goal, the crowd would come to life, and all of a sudden this would be a totally different ice hockey game. By no means certain yet which of these sides is going to presumably join air from the way they were going in the second leg down in London. 4-0 up and leading 10-4 on aggregate. This is Allard. He's got Askew with him as well. Well, good work there by Eric Dubois, and he gets it up to Leach quickly and skates forward for support. This is Dubois, gets the shot away.
I'll tell you, some good transition work there again. But boy, did I see something very interesting. Manchester Storm back. Did you see that, Steve? 3 strong along their blue line. They have that guy back. Good, solid defensive work as well.
Leach fighting in this time. It's helped up. Coleside gets it in towards the net, and it's just taken at the second attempt by the netminder, Frank Pietrangelo, making the save.
Well, in front of that net there, that's his domain, and nobody gets in there. Pietrangelo makes sure that he gets those loose pucks and hangs on to them. At your worst, all you're going to do is get a face-off, and you got another crack at gaining possession. But that's a difficult one because you see the way that that puck is bouncing and bobbling in there. You've got to try and get control of that right away and try and hang on to it.
Weaver now, has he got the pace to get past Mitchell? No. Sikorsky. Just a poke check there from Weaver, takes it away from them, and another good transition from Manchester up to Brabant. In the corner, gets it back to point. Now Hoffman will look for the shot, just wide. It's not held by Robbins. Nicely though under pressure. Hatton and Hoffman getting involved there. No call on that. Hatton went down, the home crowd wanted a penalty. Corey Boglio couldn't take control. Well, that's an unfair match, wasn't it? Boglio and Weaver. But there is a penalty now on the play. A holding call.
Corey Boglio, you got it, Steve, getting a holding the stick penalty. I was wondering about that. He was in the corner there in a confrontation with Jonathan Weaver, but he had 2 sticks in his hands. So, there you go. 1, 2, he's got a hold of Jonathan Weaver's stick. Boy, what a hit there. You talking about physical presence and guys finishing their checks off. Don McKee, there's a textbook one for you.
It's a great view of Stefan Catullo's face. Not even his wife sees it that close. Corey Boglio in for holding the stick then. And Nottingham Panthers have to do some more of that penalty killing that they do so well.
Yeah. I'll tell you, the glass in these ice rinks, I'll tell you, they can really give you a good massage on the face. There's no question about that, but it's not the type of massage you really want.
And the face-off will be in that Nottingham zone as well, so they're under immense pressure at the moment. They must be feeling their legs. Is there another call coming up here? The referee is just coming over to have a word with the scorers. A delay of the game penalty called against Nottingham Panthers. Against Hunt. Boglio not happy with that at all.
Well, you got it, and that's a real difficult one. Again, Mike Blaisdell will not be happy.
2 minutes against Simon Hunt. He was sent out, and the referee, Andy Carson, says he was sent out by Mike Blaisdell, as he did in the first game, to waste 20 seconds, which, I don't know, Mike Blaisdell doesn't really want to be wasting too much time at the moment, does he? He's running out of time.
Well, it's the tactical play, you know, and he knows that his guys are getting a bit tired, and of course he's trying to give them time to their advantage, but of course it's backfiring on them.
Backfired big time, because another penalty means that not is it just a power play, but it's a 5-on-3. Simon Hunt is coming across to take his place on the bench. Simon Hunt will sit down next to Corey Boglio. The two of them there, you can see, are just going to have to sit on and watch and see if this renowned Nottingham Panthers penalty kill can do the job again. And if they can't, they're going to find themselves 3 goals down in this race for the final of the Benson and Hedges Cup. Hard work coming up. It's out in front. Tomlinson to get it away. No, it's stopped in the crease, covered by Robbins.
Well, that puck's starting to bounce a little bit out there again. You know, this building is one that gets very warm and it affects the ice surface a little bit. But I'll tell you, the Storm moving that puck around very well there. A wide side in the back door, and with that shot, Trevor Robbins doing the splits to make a huge save.
They certainly need him to come up very big now, especially in the next couple of minutes. Well, there's another delay here, and the home crowd are not happy at all, because they figure that the Manchester bench should be called for delay of the game, because they're wasting time now at the face-off.
Well, and Mike Bishop, you see him in your screen now, he's been sent off the bench to create the controversy. Mike Blaisdell's asking him to go see Andy Carson to find out what's going on here.
Well, the referee, Andy Carson, is saying he's not called a penalty because he's given them one warning. He said he gave Mike Blaisdell one warning, then called the delay of game. He's given Kurt Kleinendorf one warning. Next time, he'll call the penalty. So Manchester will have to be careful of that too. But they still have this 5-on-3 power play. They've got 2 extra men, and they've got to move this puck around now, try and draw somebody out of that triangle for Nottingham around in front of the crease and get the shot in. Blocked there by Mitchell, who threw himself to the ice. Just under 8 minutes gone left. Let's go down and join Nick Rockwell.
Guys, I was just behind the Nottingham bench here, and I can notice before Simon went over to sit that the penalty, the minor penalty, he had packing some ice on his left wrist. He's obviously taken a whack on it. Now, he was going to go out and take the draw anyway, but then all the penalty trouble happened. But it's the bottom hand. You can see him there in there. It's the bottom hand on his stick, and we're going to have to watch that to see if he's okay for the rest of the game.
That's exactly what Nottingham don't want, isn't it? Another injury problem.
Well, that's very true, and you know, Simon Hunt, he's a good kind of clutch-type player who can play very physical and possesses a good shot, and you can rely on him very heavily, you know, to go out and do a job for you out there.
Koliaski didn't keep the puck in the zone. We've got just over a minute left on this double power play. 2-man advantage for the Nottingham Panthers to kill off, 2-man advantage to the Storm. Just pass it out, down the other end. That's what they're trying to do at the moment. Just waste time on this penalty, see it off. That's what Nottingham Panthers need to do. No thought of scoring at the moment. It's just keeping themselves in the game. Hoffman, Manchester might have some room here. They've got 2 men out in front, both behind Mitchell, the defenseman. That could have been dangerous for Nottingham Panthers, but they got away with it. Manchester come forward again. Hoffman. The moment Nottingham Panthers are just chasing shadows. Shot in! Oh, fantastic save. Great stuff by the netminder Robbins.
Oh, baby, what a save by Robbins. Chris Miller, all kinds of time and allowed to let loose on that cannon of a slap shot that he's got. And here's a glove save for you. Look at this. One-timer. Boom, the guy's right there to make the save and keep his team in the nets. He does a good job here as well, Steve, because he has to come across the play, and there's a man in front of him there that's trying to create controversy.
Well, the crowd brought to life by that great save. It happens that way sometimes, doesn't it? And they're going to want to get behind their side now just to see out the remainder of this penalty kill. And who knows, that might be a turning point that just gets the crowd behind behind Nottingham and gets them going forward. Maybe they get a goal in the next few minutes and suddenly the whole picture changes.
Well, that's very crucial too, because those players are back out. But had that puck come out, it would have been a very big advantage for the Panthers.
Back to full strength, and Nottingham now going to start chasing that goal again. Five on three for Manchester. They only managed to get 2 goals on that, 2 shots on goal on that. And as you can see, Nottingham penalty killing 92.6, working again 54 times short-handed. And fantastic stuff really from Nottingham Panthers in that respect. We can't say it enough, can we? Thing is, we're getting an awful lot of opportunities to say it because they are taking too many penalties. That's the rub, the other side of the coin, isn't it?
Well, it is, because it's wearing everybody down. But as you say, you know, good job out there. That penalty killing percentage just keeps going up and up for them. Jonathan Weaver going to his backhand here, which makes it very difficult for a goaltender. But I think Mike Bishop did a great job to cut the angle down on that and make Trevor Robbins' job in the net that much easier, because you got a bad angle shot there, and all he's got to do is stack his pads up against the posts, and he's got an easy save.
Well, Jonathan Weaver practices shooting from that angle time after time after time before every single game as Morrison falls down.
Well, I saw that as well in pregame warm-up. He sits beside the net there and gets shots, you know, and sees if he can pick the top corner, because he is a skillful player, and I mean, you know, he gets that versatility, those good quick hands moving. We've seen him score goals with, say, a shot coming off the barrier behind the net, and he gets a chance and gets a shot on goal, puts it in.
Of course, it's much easier in warm-up when Robbins isn't standing there and Mike Bishop's not trying to move you out of the way.
That's right, you got a little bit more time that way.
Great player there, Jonathan Weaver. He's on the side that are winning at the moment, 5-0. Well, there's more argy-bargy going on here in this game. It is physical, and that's what we expected. As Zakuski and Rubachuk want to have another go at each other, they're going to have some more penalties here.
Well, I don't think either player will back down in that situation. Andy Carson certainly getting kept busy, isn't he, in this period? And if that lead's going to stay the way the Manchester Storm, they're very much going to have to work for it. Mike Blaisdell making sure that everybody's out there paying the price.
Slashing and roughing the 2 calls on the 2 players, 1 to each side.
We've got double minor penalties there, Steve, on that call.
But we're going to go 5-on-5 anyway, so it's not going to make any difference in that respect. But, of course, Nottingham have less options. Mike Blaisdell has much fewer options.
Very true, you know, 4 minutes again, which means you've got to shorten that lineup up. You can see Mike Blaisdell, he's looking down his bench. What option do I use next? I know the Panthers certainly tried to see if they could get some help for this final leg of the semi-final, but to no avail, and they elected to go with what they had in their lineup. And you got to give the guys credit, they're giving it 110% out there.
Leach, scorer of 2 goals in the first game when Nottingham took a 2-goal lead. Back to Berta, shot saved, it still leaves up there, can Mitchell get it in? Boglio is being forced down, he won't like that. He almost got very angry. And you don't like to see Corey Boglio when he's angry, believe me. Boglio back on the puck now. One thing that they do need now is for Nottingham Panthers players like Boglio, who has a short fuse, not to lose it as Colson comes forward. It's put into the corner by the netminder. Trying to feed it back out front. Leach was there, Mitchell was coming in. Puck's not moving, we'll stop the game.
With Jamie Leach behind the net, that puck ending up back of the netting there, and of course Andy Carswell whistles that down. Depending on who it touched will relate to where the face-off will go, but it's staying in Manchester territory. Jamie Leach, former American League player, pretty big in stature though, and as we all know, boy, he's got that cannon of a shot, which he takes after his father with, but he's a very good player in his own right.
Again, the action thick and furious around the crease there of Peter Angelo. 100% record so far this evening. He's had 22 shots on him already.
Well, and Nick Rothwell's statistic as well, I see no rebound. I like these defensemen shots when they're right on the ice like that. You see that, Steve? They're low, they're down. Guys can deflect them that way, and that's what causes goaltenders problems.
Really hard work for Nottingham. As we keep saying, and you do wonder when all of a sudden maybe they must just find things that little bit harder, not just physically but mentally, just to keep up the speed of thought as well as the speed of skating and the power of the shot. That one happened just wide, didn't bounce back out in front. Bishop keeps it in. It's all action around Peter Angelo at the moment, isn't it? Let's go back down ringside and join Nick Rothwell.
Yeah, guys, I guess the bad news is that Simon Hunt, he has gone off the ice now. He's in the room for some physio treatment, and I just went in to have a look at him, and he's grimacing with pain. So you know, the doctors are trying to tape up it's his thumb actually. They're trying to tape him up to see if he can get out here. He's one of the toughest kids I know, and if he can get out here, he will. Guys.
Well, Nick, thank you very much. Another blow for Nottingham Panthers. Simon Hunt's certainly not a quitter, though.
Yeah, 13 down to 12 now, you know, and as we said, you know, you got to have all guys out there and firing, especially. Because when you get tired, Steve, you mentioned that, when you get tired physically, that's when you start making mental mistakes. You physically get tired, and the mental mistakes seem to follow.
We're going back down the other end. Icing was the call. 3:30 left on the second period. It's 1-0 to the Manchester Storm. Roy Mitchell knows his side. He's the assistant coach as well as a defenseman for Nottingham Panthers. He knows his side need to score twice just to get back on level terms in this tie. They need to score 3 times if they're going to make another final of the Benson and Hedges Cup. And to score 3 against Manchester, that's not easy.
Not when they think defensively. Getting back to Roy Mitchell, though, I know that Mike Blaisdell was certainly pleased to get a signing like him over the summer months because of what he can offer both on and off the ice, you know. And when you got a player of those sorts of capabilities, boy, he's certainly going to help you.
There's Mitchell back doing the defensive job, trying to start another attack for the Nottingham Panthers. Maybe this is a chance with Leach and Colsar. Garden drives for the net. Puck doesn't come there, though. Has to go in the corner and dig it out. Colsar gets it back across. Boglio getting it in behind the Manchester defence. See if Nottingham can dig it out of there this time. Another penalty on the play.
We got Troy Newmeyer getting a holding call, Steve. As a result of that incident behind the net there. I'm sure it is. There you go. The old bear hug on Mark Colsar, but I still think he wins that battle because he allows himself to get back into play. But this is a lot more evident. You can see that he's hanging on to him. Nobody wants to lose that battle, especially in your own defensive zone. Troy Newmeyer, the assistant captain for the Manchester Storm, off for holding.
There's Simon Hunt back on the bench for Nottingham Panthers. We'll see if he's a little taped up there for the injury that he's picked up. I wonder how much more ice time we're going to see him have. Looks very much intense in this game. power play for the Nottingham Panthers. Dubois gets the shot in. 2:47 left on the period. Nottingham Panthers, if they could score on this power play, this could be a very crucial point in the whole game. If they could score just before the start of this period, end of this period, as Manchester did in the first game. And remember, Rupert's goal turned that whole game around, didn't it? From 2-0 down, and suddenly got Manchester going in that game. Dubois getting it around the boards. Nottingham have two men back there. Nobody out in front at the moment. They can't get control of the puck either. Vitally important that they get their power play working now. Dubois, high in the air, takes it down with a glove. Rims it back around the boards to Peckerberta, helps it on, Bishop will pick it up out of the corner. Manchester working hard, but Nottingham keeping the puck alive. It's in front. Oh, so close there to getting it turned in, but it didn't quite work for Bishop. Peter Angelo covered it up.
Nottingham Panthers keeping that puck very deep throughout this power play, allowing to get the shot on goal, but some good defensive work there by the Storm. As you can see, popping on those guys in front of the net, and again letting Frankie Pietrangelo concentrating on hanging onto that puck and creating the face-off. Quality shots on a power play are certainly the key, and when you keep that puck around the exterior, around the rim, in the offensive zone, that makes it difficult to try and get those quality shots away. Greg Haddon there's got a real nasty cut under the eye, Steve.
Well, it never raised, but it paused for the Nottingham Panthers. That's another problem. Great goal scorer. Didn't actually pick up a goal in the first game. You would have imagined that he would get one in this second game if his statistics are right, but he's going to need some stitches in that, isn't he? In the break, the second break coming up shortly. A few minutes left on this period. Still a power play. Still 59 seconds. Nottingham Panthers really need to turn the screw now. They've got to find a way through soon. If they can do that... Oh, Bobby almost went out. Mitchell, it's just wide. Leach turns it back in. Nottingham Panthers with a power play goal. They're thrilled, and this game is really alive again. Tied at 1-1, and the lead now for Manchester just 4-3 on aggregate.
I'll tell you, persistence is such a virtue, and a very similar goal to the one scored in the first period. The shot on the ice, the deflection, and you see it go in between the legs of Frankie Pietrangelo to tie this game all up. And I'll tell you, I love the persistence of the Nottingham Panthers because they just keep working and working, and finally that hard work has paid off.
Jamie Leach got 2 goals in the first game. He got 1 now in this game. That's all 3 that they've got in this time. And suddenly Mike Blaisdell and Steve Carpenter can start to, well, not relax exactly, but they'll feel a little bit of pressure taken off their shoulders.
Well, once again, the momentum has changed, Steve, and it's a goal in the latter stages of this period. And that's going to change that momentum for the Panthers.
Important time now. Suddenly they're flying. 80 with speed going into the area. Haddon's out in front. Despite that cut, he's working hard. The puck didn't fall for him. Oh, tried to get 80 again. Now, can Manchester suddenly spring a real surprise? This game has suddenly gone up another stage in the last few minutes, and that goal for Nottingham Panthers will mean that the third period, and indeed the remaining minutes of this period, is going to be quite something.
Well, there's one thing that really helps inspiration and gives you that second win that you need, and that's getting a big goal. And that's something that the Panthers very much needed. And they're dwindling it away. Both coaches will know that they go out and they try and play it a period at a time. At the moment, Nottingham has won this period.
Well, they're suddenly so much happier in the Nottingham Ice Stadium. Colsar gets the puck, and Bobby gets out in front, and Colsar was driving for the net. Leach was there, but Peter Angelo covered up.
On these face-offs, it's now so important that both teams try and hang on to their men so nobody gets that clear shot and opportunity on the goaltender. So defensive work, especially deep in your own zone, becomes very much a forefront opportunity.
Well, the goal has been changed to Brent Bobick. He was the man that got the touch just in front, and so he now has got the goal, his 5th of the season, and Jamie Leach gets the assist for the shot that came in, but Bobick is the player that's got the goal. Most importantly, it's 1-1, it's 4-3 on aggregate, there are 54 seconds left, and Brent Bobick, he won't mind that he scored or who scored, really. It's the goals that count.
Well, you got Stevie Carpenter, there's old Pete Hunt. He's the trainer of the Nottingham Panthers. He's been around the game a long time. All these guys are all rivaled up. They know it takes a total team approach if they're going to get through.
Still time for another goal. Either side could get it. Rubachuk. It's been a spell of pressure, hasn't it, for Nottingham Panthers in these last few minutes. They really have had to go for it. They were trailing, and now they're level on the night. But they still have another goal to make up. Don't forget, if it does actually finish by a goal up to Nottingham, that would be level overall, and we'd have overtime. Who knows, maybe even penalty shots. I'm sure there's plenty more drama to come in this game yet. Just a couple of seconds left on this second period. And I guess there's some players out there that will be very grateful for the rest. That's the end of the period. 4-3 the current score. Steve Carpenter and Mike Blaisdell will go and talk to their players, get them patched up. Greg Haddon will...
The players will be back after this short message from our headline sponsor. We know it's interrupting the interesting bit, but bear with us. We think you'll like this. Do you have a mortgage? Are you thinking about getting on the property ladder? Would you like to check if you could pay less on your monthly repayments? Then why not talk to Nottingham Mortgage Services? When you get mortgage advice from us, we won't just find you deals offered by only one lender. We search thousands of mortgages from over 60 lenders to find the right deal for you. Visit thenottingham.com to find out more or request a call back. Everything can be done from the comfort and convenience of your own home. Now back to the Nottingham Panthers.
Of this semi-final tie. It's 1-1 on the night, Manchester leading 4-3 over the two legs. And look at that now, Nottingham out shooting Manchester, and they have more of the possession as well. Let's quickly hear from Nottingham's Mike Bishop, who's talking to Nick Rothwell.
Mike, great timing there.
Yeah, we're starting to get her going now. I think we've got the momentum going into the third period now. We're one shot behind, and I think we got things rolling, and we're full of confidence right now. That's what counts.
Simon Hunt looks to be carrying a little injury. Greg Haddon got that cut on the eye. Those are things you don't need right now.
Well, I tell you, we got some guts and determination, this team. We got 3 or 4 guys out, some key guys, and all the guys that are in here tonight, they're just digging down deep and just giving everything they have.
You just got to stop these Manchester forwards hammering you guys on the point there.
Well, it's part of the game, but like I said, we got the momentum, and we're just going to take it from there.
All right, good luck in the third, Mike.
Great, thank you.
Thoughts of Mike Bishop. Don McKee, they must be awfully tired, but that was a big, big goal for them, wasn't it?
You're sort of wondering whether history is going to repeat itself. In Monday night in Manchester, they got behind by 2 goals, and they came back with a late goal in the second period that motivated them for the third. I'm wondering if Nottingham right now are really pumped. They got that important goal. They were down 2 on the series. Now they're only down 1. They could have a great third period.
For much of that second period, Don, it looked as though Nottingham were going to struggle to find a goal, and the first clear-cut chance went to Manchester.
Well, definitely, and it was a Trevor Robbins period. I thought he kept them in the game. He had an outstanding period, and you'll see him make a big save here on a 5-on-3 power play. Weaver pushes the puck across. Trevor Robbins takes it right off of the stick, and he was the difference in that period. He had a super period after giving up that first goal in the first period. We said if he could stay solid, Nottingham will be there.
We saw Simon Hunt and Jamie Leach both injured, and we don't know how significant that could be. But Jamie Leach had a good opportunity, perhaps Nottingham's best opportunity, before they scored in that second period. Let's take a look at that.
He did, but you can see he's a little tired here. He took a shot rather than driving the net, and the goaltender made a good play on it. And Kolsar came in from the backside and got a piece of the puck. needed a good save, okay, again, okay, from Peter Angelo. He's been solid too.
Don, I'm sure the Manchester fans must have thought that the game was probably going to go their way when they went 5-on-3 again with that power play. They didn't quite manage to take advantage, but nearly did.
The penalty killing of this Nottingham team 5-on-3 is very impressive. You watch them kill this 5-on-3 in a full 2-minute 5-on-3. But again, I thought Trevor Robbins was a key. Big glove save there. He was really solid. You can see the puck comes across to Chris Miller, and he lets a one-timer go, and it's right in the big glove of Robbins.
All right, well, let's quickly take a look at the goal, because it was very important for Nottingham, wasn't it? And
it has really changed the whole feeling in this building. This crowd right now have come alive, and they needed this goal to do it. Again, you tell your defenseman, and Jamie Leach was playing on the point, to make sure you get the puck to the net. Yeah. It comes back to Leach. He gets to the net, and on the way, it's tipped by Brett Bobick, and Frankie Pietrangelo gave up the 5-hole. That's a tough save to make.
It's an element of luck, but it's all important, and we'll obviously see how this third period goes. It's going to be mighty interesting. More from Don in a moment. First of all, let's check on what's happening in the other semi-final second leg tie at the London Arena. Russell Hall has the details on London against Ayr.
Well, the cup holders have showed no signs of letting up despite their lead. Just 2 minutes into the second period, Mark Montanari and Ryan Kumu set up Wolf for his second of the night. But Wolf wasn't done yet, however, bagging his hat-trick goal from a seemingly impossible angle just 3 minutes later. Tempers then frayed midway through the period, London's Greg Gatto receiving a double minor for roughing and cross-checking. On the resulting power play, it was only the brilliant goaltending of Mark Cavalin which prevented Ayr from increasing their lead. So at the end of 2 periods of play, it's the Ayr Scottish Eagles 4, London Knights 0, with the Eagles enjoying a 10-4 lead on aggregate.
So the defending champions on course to make a reappearance at Sheffield for the final on December the 5th. We'll hope to be there. Well, we certainly will be there as well. We hope you will be too. It's a day not to be missed. One of the showpiece days for British ice hockey, and Sky Sports will be there bringing you all the action live on Saturday, December the 5th, 7 o'clock, Sky Sports 2. Do join us if you can for that. Let's go ringside here at Nottingham and Nick Rothwell.
Well, Dominic, I'll tell you what a game. They sold me the whole seat tonight, but I've only been on the edge. It's been great. 1-1 going into the third period, 1 up on aggregate. The Manchester Storm, you couldn't write a better script. The Manchester Storm, though, let's talk about them. They're so solid right now. What they've been so good at is winning these 1- and 2-goal games. That's why they're not too worried at the moment. The speed of their forwards going out wide, peppering Robbins and heading to the net, that's what they'll continue to do. Nottingham, on the other hand, though, we know that Hunt is carrying an injury. Haddon has got that cut on his face. That's not going to affect Haddon at all. These guys are just going to have to dig so deep, deeper than they've ever dug before, to get back into this game and crack the Storm. It's been a great game here, the Benson & Hedges Cup. It's been wonderful. And, of course, the league is continuing this weekend. Let's have a look and see what's happening. The Centrum Arena hosts a mouth-watering clash between last year's Super League champions Ayr and the Manchester Storm, this season's current leaders.
The London Knights play host to the Bracknell Bees as the Bees buzz over to the new London Arena at 7 p.m. to take on ex-coach Jim Fiorchuk. Then on Sunday, Bracknell take on the Nottingham Panthers. In their last meeting, the Panthers sneaked a last-minute victory in overtime. This could be another close one. The Cardiff Devils welcome the Sheffield Steelers. The home team attempt to extend their recent impressive run of 1 defeat in the league this season. And Newcastle try to avenge last Sunday's heavy defeat at the hands of Manchester. They take on the Storm at 6:30 p.m. at the Telewest Arena.
So a full weekend of league action coming up, but right now, of course, we're concentrating on the Benson and Hedges Cup, the closing stages of this semi-final second leg tie. Will the Nottingham fans be seeing their team go to Sheffield? We'll be back with the third period live straight after this break.
The players will be back after this short message from our headline sponsor. We know it's interrupting the interesting bit, but bear with us. We think you'll like this. Do you have a mortgage? Are you thinking about getting on the property ladder? Would you like to check if you could pay less on your monthly repayments? Then why not talk to Nottingham Mortgage Services? When you get mortgage advice from us, we won't just find you deals offered by only one lender. We search thousands of mortgages from over 60 lenders to find the right deal for you. Visit thenottingham.com to find out more or request a callback. Everything can be done from the comfort and convenience of your own home. Now back to the Nottingham Panthers.
1-1 Nottingham against Manchester, 4-3 to Manchester over the two legs. And Don McKee, where's your money now?
Well, the Nottingham team always plays on the edge. They never worry about taking penalties. They always take risks. I feel that right now they're in their comfort zone. I worry about Manchester. They'll be afraid about taking penalties. They know Nottingham's goal came on a power play. I think Manchester's going to be a little timid this period. I think we could be in for a long game yet. It's not over.
We may have overtime, we may have penalties, it's all to come. Let's get back to the commentary box to Bob Carroll and Steve James.
I know where my money is, Bob, in my pocket.
And that's where you'll keep it, so will I. But I think Nick Rothwell down there, he'll put some money on this game, I'm certain of that. I'm not sure which way he's going to go, though.
Well, Nottingham won, Manchester won. It couldn't be said of any better. It's the home side that have the goal to make up in this game. They have their tails up. There's Peter Angelo beaten, only just beaten for that goal, it must be said, when Brent Bobby got the touch on that shot from the blue line by Jamie Leach. And it's going to be so hard to beat him again, but Nottingham have to do that. They have to score another one to take it at least to overtime. And Mike Blaisdell knows his side have to score twice to get into the final of the Benson and Hedges Cup for the fourth time.
Well, I think he's got his fingers crossed and everything else crossed. He knows he's going to need a little bit of luck. He's certainly got the hard work ethic going in his direction at the moment, as well as the momentum. And a combination of those things is going to move his team in the right direction.
Because of the short bench, I know he was kind of hoping that he wasn't chasing the game in the third period. He wanted to come out strong and get their noses in front and see if they could hang on to it. That's not the case. But it's 20 minutes. This is the biggest period of the season so far for both these sides. Certainly for Nottingham Panthers, it's all or nothing for them now. They've got to get the goal. And it will be interesting to see how Kurt Kleinendorf's side, Manchester Storm, do approach the period. Will they be timid, as Dom suggested they might be?
Well, I think you're going to look for the Manchester Storm to continue to apply pressure. They're the one with a full bench strength, and they've got to make this team skate and force them into mental errors, if you like. I think we'll see a lot of quick changes as well from both sides. Of course, this is Nottingham's home building, so they'll get the last crack at that in terms of trying to match players against players, if that's what the case may be.
One of the most intimidating places you can come, and there's a man who's good at intimidating too. That's Corey Boglio. Corey Boglio, the big number 44, only his third game back, mind, since the long injury from a shoulder problem he suffered against Manchester back in September, so he's fresh, I suppose, but he may just be finding his game legs, if you see what I mean.
I sure do. I mean, you know, there's something to training and getting yourself prepared for a game, but, you know, a game-type situation is a completely different perspective, and that's one of the things that they'll be looking at. But he's got to dig down deep with that, and he's got to show some composure out there. He's got to stay out there, but he's still got to create that physical presence that he's so good at.
Well, he's got a short fuse and he's got a tight rope to walk between doing the job he's got to do and getting himself in trouble and maybe giving a power play to the Manchester Storm. A little bit of pushing and shoving going on in there, nothing really involved in that. Just the linesman sorting that out.
There's a good example, though, as we saw. You see both teams not getting outnumbered for a loose puck. Nottingham's defensive zone, 2 players in there, and they've got to make sure that they add that support, because it's very crucial that they gain possession and try and get out of the zone there. Because if Manchester capitalize, they're in the right position to try and create the scoring opportunity.
Dave Morrison going in for the face-off for Manchester. There's Boglio giving it to AD. Feed across the face of the net. Nottingham haven't really had a chance to up the pressure on Manchester in this third period yet. That's what they'll want to do. They've got to keep the momentum going from that goal just before the end of the period, just as Manchester did in the first game. Remember, that was 2-0 to Nottingham. With that goal by Rubichuk just before the end of the first period, and then 2 goals in the third period came into this game, 3-2. They got a goal in this game through Tomlinson to make it 4-2. Now it's 4-3, 1-1 on the night. Nottingham coming forward again. Hadden to Zakuski, but the pass just a little late. Zakuski offside.
Jared Zakuski, Mike Blaisdell focusing on every play, because he knows that it could be a decision that he makes out there, Steve. Could be the one that gets this team into the final, or not. A lot of pressure on these guys in the third period.
Well, it's a sport unlike many others, where a manager more or less gives up, the coach gives up once the players go onto the pitch. In many sports, that's the end of it. In this game, the coaches play such a vital part.
I swear to God, they lose weight on that bench. And that's because they get so involved in the play.
Penalty called there. And it's called against Graham Garden for hooking, and that means it's going to be a Manchester Storm power play. Tripping, in fact, I think was the call.
Well, the Manchester Storm looking to come out of the zone there. I think it was Kevin Hoffman. And Graham Garden hauled him down from behind, getting the stick in there. There you look at it. No, that's Blair Scott. Well, there's a good view of what Graham Garden did. Of course, the turnover, which could have been dangerous for the Storm had the call not been made. But, of course, the Manchester Storm now go on the power play.
Well, that's 40 minutes of penalties racked up in this game now. And so, there'll be plenty of opportunities on power plays and so on. And as we keep saying, makes it hard for Nottingham Panthers because they have the shorter bench. But right now, they've just got to give their all, and they've got to kill another penalty. And Manchester Storm have to try and take the opportunity that they've been given just to get themselves back in control of this game, re-establish their lead to 2 if they can possibly do it. The power play is the perfect opportunity.
Greg Hadden cut the latter stages of that second period, but looks like he's either got a couple of butterflies on that or he's got the stitches. Nottingham Panthers scoring on one of their power plays, and 25% for the evening, but you see the Manchester Storm still failing to capitalize when they've got the man advantage.
Had 7 in the first game as well without taking advantage too. Manchester Storm.
I don't think the scenario's changed, Steve, though. We knew that this would be a tight game. It was going to be a tight series, and that's very much reflective on what's happened so far.
Well, if the games don't end in draws, they end in 1-goal victories, by and large in matches between these two sides. Manchester Storm moving the puck forward. Catalog just bringing it down. Bobbitt quite happy just to play the puck down to the other end. No icing, they're short-handed.
A very close call there. Manchester getting caught on a change, and they had possession of the puck. Just about too many men on the ice.
Dubois not allowing Chola to chase that puck around. Puck just comes out off the linesman, in fact. Down Hurley taking a tumble, but the referee not thinking there was anything wrong at all with the challenge. Manchester on the power play, but it's going by fast, and they haven't really put any pressure on Trevor Robbins. He's out of his zone again. Trevor Robbins still hasn't faced a shot in this power play, and I don't think he's going to.
Well, that penalty killing option of the Nottingham Panthers stays intact, and again, they kill another one off, which is ever so crucial.
Well, Colsar was looking at the bench waiting to change lines then when Garden sent the puck towards him. Just one goal and 56 times playing short through penalties. That really is such an impressive figure. And I wonder how many teams anywhere in the world can match up to that. That is impressive. Good poke check there, and it comes to Eddie. Eddie just plays it forward. Peter Angelo takes it.
Well, Frankie Pietrangelo is a big game player, and any time that he gets an opportunity like that to hang on to that puck, knowing that there's Nottingham Panthers around his net, he's going to hang on to it to create that face-off. That's just good experience to suggest that's the play that has to be made.
Beaten just the once so far in this game. Beaten twice in the first match. The Monday night first leg. Nottingham Panthers haven't really put quite the pressure on him that they did at the close of the second period, just at present, so maybe this face-off is the opportunity. It's into the corner, frozen against the boards, we're going to have another face-off. 1-1 then, these are the goals that we've had so far in this game. First goal scored by Manchester. Tomlinson, the scorer, 4-2 on aggregate. And then, as the puck came around to Jamie Leach, it was his shot, touched in by Brent Bobbick to make it 1-1 on the night. One goal now between the two sides again on aggregate, 4-3. Mitchell trying to drive it in towards the edge of the crease. Too many bodies there. Didn't quite take a touch from Sikorsky. And now suddenly the transition, they're up the other end. Morin. Boglio is down on his knees to try and block it. They're going to have to do everything they can. They have to go forward to try and score goals, Nottingham Panthers, but they mustn't get caught on the break by Manchester, who, don't let us forget, are very good at that transition between defence and offence, and very, very quick with it. They've got some very fast skaters, and they move the puck well, Manchester.
You know, another key is as Don McKee mentioned, this way that the benches are located, they're located in either zones of the teams, depending on which direction they're playing in. So between, or I should say in the second period, it's very difficult for either of these teams to change because their defensemen are at the wrong end of the ice, if you like. They're having to defend and they're having to go into the offensive zone before they can get off the ice.
The Nottingham bench, Mark Colsar there, Pekka Berta looking on, and they're still a goal behind. And they would love a rest, I'm sure, but they've just got to give it all they can for less than 15 minutes now, unless, of course, we get overtime.
I think Mike Blaisdell says, well, you can rest tomorrow. We win this one tonight. Guys, we'll give you tomorrow off.
Well, no, Kurt Kleinendorf doesn't believe in giving his side time off. The one defeat they've had in domestic competition this year was against Newcastle. He blamed that on the fact that he gave his side a day off.
As we speak, Steve, you can see Kurt Kleinendorf has changed his position on the Manchester bench. He's moved from the front to the back. He's now gone back there, but he's given specific instructions to his players. This is getting a little bit too tight, I'm sure, for his liking.
Rick Brabant going in for the face-off. I'm sure you spotted him during that look ahead and look back on the past winners of the Benson Hedges Cup. You saw him lifting the Benson Hedges Cup in a Nottingham shirt. He won it with the Panthers a few years back. And now he's trying to win it with the Manchester Storm. That's Brabant on the puck. Got the puck forward. Hunt finds Garden, takes the puck off the boards. He just dumps it in. They'll chase it now. That's Hunt. Hunt, still Hunt. Couldn't quite get out to Garden. Can they keep it in? They can. Mitchell did the job. Hunt is still in there. Eventually Mitchell will have to race back. Garden playing it in now. Getting it in low and no real pressure there. That was more for the line change rather than to put some pressure on the Manchester Storm net.
Well, I think to a certain extent, the way that this third period has started, both teams showed a little bit of conservativeness, really, not wanting to take that chance. But eventually Nottingham will have to go onto the gambling table.
Nottingham and Manchester 1-1. Nottingham 1 behind. Whoever wins, we know who they're going to be playing in the final of the Benson Hedges Cup at the beginning of December in Sheffield. 6-0 to Ayr in London. That's quite a result, an amazing result actually, and a 12-4 win in aggregate for Ayr. The defending champions are back in the final.
It's the third year in a row that they've been in that final of the Benson and Hedges Cup, and you can bet your money they'll certainly be wanting to keep it. And they're starting to go on fire now. It's all about getting your timing right and playing to your potential at crucial times.
Well, last year Ayr beat Manchester and Nottingham on the way to the final, and the previous year Ayr lost the final to Nottingham Panthers. Is it going to be another Nottingham showdown against Ayr? Or will it be Manchester Storm making their first ever appearance in the final? At the moment, Manchester are ahead, and Roy Mitchell just skating off there, looking a little bit weary.
Still plenty of reserve on that Manchester bench as these guys get that turnover, and the changes that are happening there are very, very consistent. Everybody knows that they've got a job to do out there. They'll be making sure that they're picking their men up, and defense will very much be coming first.
Brabant in for the draw again. Losing out this time. Bishop turning it around the boards. It's Jonathan Weaver back there to Brabant, former line mates up at Newcastle. Of course, Brabant was a coach then with Newcastle and brought Weaver on. Well, comes out to Brabant. Shot! Oh, another great save. Another great save. The Kettler's shot, and Robbins getting applause from the crowd.
Well, a turnover in Nottingham's defensive zone there on a bit of a bad bounce. Rick Brabant with a great pass to Katola, but very little time for Katola to get the shot away, although he does, and Trevor Robbins gets a good glove save on it. There you are. That was going for the old top shelf corner upstairs to the penthouse. But Robbins is again very much on the ball.
There's the man that set up the shot for Katola, Rick Brabant. And as I was saying a few moments ago, very proud to have won the Benson Hedges Cup as a Nottingham Panthers player. He's played for quite a few clubs around this country, and over the years, and he's been here a long time now, Rick Brabant. He's been one of the most impressive players that has played in the British game over the years. Hunt gets the shot, Hunt gets the shot, and it's in! It's taken by Zakuski! Nottingham Panthers are level on the tide and ahead of the night! Jarrett Zakuski, it's 2-1, 4-4.
Oh boy, I think we're going to be here for a while. It's starting to heat up now. A very innocent play as it started, but the bounce comes away the Nottingham Panthers. And there's the rebound that eventually goes into the back of the net. On Haddon's shot, Zakuski there for the rebound, and it just can't be held out. Carson's right there to make the call. Here's Frankie Pietrangelo. You can see that puck bobbling on him very rarely. They won't get away from him, but it happened on this occasion.
It was Haddon and AD that got the assists, and Zakuski that got the goal. Jarrett Zakuski's second goal in the Benson and Hedges Cup competition this year, and it could be a very important goal indeed. 4-4, 11:51 left on this game. If there are no more goals in the next 11 minutes or so, we will have overtime. But somehow I think there might well be a goal as Bobbitt comes forward, tries to go right through the middle. Garden was with him. Manchester hold out. And all of a sudden, Manchester Storm are really getting under the pressure of Nottingham, of the crowd, the noise in this arena. And Garden didn't do well to get that out. Got it away from the ball, got it back to point. It came in, was behind the net. Bumped all the way down. Icing the call. The crowd really are going crazy now. This is what they wanted to see. Let's get some thoughts with 11 minutes left in the third period from our guest, Sheffield Steelers coach Don McKee. Don.
Definitely, this is an unbelievable environment. The way that Jared Zakowski played tough in front of the net and tipped it in. I know that Coach Conroy's hates ugly goals against them, and that was one.
4-4 then, 2-1 ahead. And Mike Blaisdell, well, I talked about the pressure of being lifted off his shoulders with the first goal. With the second one, he must feel a much happier man.
Oh, he is, you know, because he's had his team work so hard to get in the position that they're in. But now the pressure is even, isn't it? It's the same for Kirk Kleinendorf as it is for Mike Blaisdell, because this baby's all tied up.
And I guess in some ways now, with 11 minutes to go, it might just be who wants it the most. The noise has been turned up by several decibels, several hundred decibels it sounds like in this arena. Suddenly the Nottingham Panthers fans are making themselves, their presence really felt. And that was a comment before the game from the Nottingham camp that they may be short on the bench, but the crowd in a way is like almost an extra player for them really, as you can see Simon Hunt there.
Well, Simon Hunt not seeing a lot of ice time in this third period, very much because of injury. Well, these guys, as we said, are digging very deep to support one another and get that tying goal for them and tie this series right up. I'll tell you, you got to admire the guys.
Bishop going forward again. Are Manchester going to get ruffled? Can they keep their composure? Every hit now is cheered enthusiastically by the home crowd as Jamie Leach was getting stuck in there.
There's the crowd just going wild. They got to be worth the goal again in this building when they get fired up. So look out, fellas, because I still think there's way more to play.
Jamie Leach, the captain, sitting down in front of Mike Blaisdell. He'll be ready for another shift in just a minute or so. Paul Adey holding on, and the goal will give you so much more of a lift as players. Those little aches, those little tired muscles that you've got suddenly for the goal, they seem to drift away. Zakuski goes driving for the net. Katola will bring it away. Weaver playing it back across to Katola, who got forward well. And looking for the break. This is Haddon. Haddon's on his own and got the shot, and there was nobody following up to take advantage of the rebound when it came out into the slot. Haddon just getting a touch, trying to get it forward. Boglio getting involved with Newmeyer in centre ice as Garden has the puck deep inside his own zone. He tried to get it down the wing, but it didn't work. It came actually off the official. And this is Morrison going through. Manchester now, their turn to apply some pressure. Their turn to try and get themselves back in front. But Bobbitt, it's 1-on-1. Bobbitt gets the shot, it's off target. Come to Hunt though, they'll keep it in the zone, they'll get it back across. 9:03 left on this game. 4-4, it's all tied up for a place in the final of the Benson and Hedges Cup.
Well, the Panthers still continue to throw the heat up a little bit. Every opportunity. Jared Sikuski getting a shot on goal, and again, players driving for the net, which makes Frankie Pietrangelo's job ever so difficult. But there's that transition again that you see that the Manchester Storm are very good at.
Turns and shoots, it's saved by Pietrangelo again. Another good save, this time from Berta.
Well, shots on goal, I think, are certainly changing in terms of time. Right off the face-off. And time again, we see the importance of it. And if you want a guy that shouldn't be shooting the puck, if you're the Manchester Storm, that's that Pekka Virta, but boy, can he let her go.
Tells the story, doesn't it? After a level first period, they had 6 more. In the second period, they've had 6 more so far. In the third period, they're out shooting Nottingham by 50% at the moment. It's through the line to goal! Bishop with a slap shot from the point. And suddenly they're ahead in the game, but they're also ahead in the tie. Nottingham Panthers now lead by 3 goals to 1.
Well, maybe that's that extra goal, Steve. But let's have a look at 2 things here. Let's have a look at the face-off, which the Nottingham Panthers win. The shot from the point, right on the ice. Look at Jamie Leachy jumping up and down. Frankie Pietrangelo in the Manchester net doesn't see a thing there. A very calculated play by the Nottingham Panthers, and they capitalized to take the lead for the first time in this series.
Mark Colsar delighted to have got the touch just in front of the net there. The assist from Bishop, and Leach gets another assist. He's got 2 assists now for the evening. And suddenly, well, they always make a noise, but this is special even for Nottingham. 5-4 on aggregate, and now it's got to be Manchester Storm who are going to pile on the pressure, because suddenly they've got to chase the game. Manchester turning the screw a little bit here as Jablonski keeps it going. Another shot inside. There's 2 Nottingham defensemen sliding down there on the ice to block the shot. 8:24 left on this game. 3-1 Nottingham lead. And 5-4 the aggregate score.
Well, while all that play was going on, I was watching Boglio having a good time with Brad Rubachuk in front of the net there, making sure that he had him tied up. But I'll tell you, he had him down on the ground there, on the ice, I should say, and Brad Rubachuk wasn't going anywhere.
We promised a Titanic showdown. That's exactly what it's turning out to be. And Manchester Storm, have they got something to come from behind? It's very difficult sometimes when you've had the momentum taken away from you to try and get it back.
Well, momentum's what it's all about, and let's hope that this game stays the physicalness and the tempo that it has all game long, because it's been a real true match between 2 very good clubs.
Manchester, suddenly they are going forward a lot more. They've started to take the game. Pietrangelo will come out. He makes sure there's no pressure on him, keeps the puck going as well, keeps the game moving. That's got to be to the advantage of the Manchester Storm side, to make sure that there are no opportunities for Nottingham to get a rest, because that is the one area where they might just have an Achilles heel. Manchester Storm on the blue line. Offside. 7:35 left.
We'll have another opportunity to have a look at the goal that put the Nottingham Panthers into the lead in this series. Again, a deflection from the point. And you've got to make sure that you got your man tied up in front of the net. You see 2 Manchester Storm players there with Mark Colsar. But he manages to get the old stick on the puck, doesn't he? And deflect it between the 5-hole of Frankie Pietrangelo.
5th goal in this competition for Mark Colsar. Very important one it was too. place in the final of the Benson Hedges Cup against Ayr. The defending champions have beaten London Knights this evening by 6 goals to 0. And that was in London. That's quite a result for the defending champions. Here, Manchester Storm have never been to the final. Nottingham Panthers have been there. They've won it twice. And they do certainly seem to have a love affair with this competition.
Well, the Manchester Storm must continue to take this play. Trevor Robbins coming up with a huge save there, and boy, the pressure will go on both these goaltenders. Not just Trevor Robbins, as this game goes into its final stages. Hoffman driving to the net, you got defensemen coming forward. And like I say, sometimes a defensive shell isn't always the answer. Of course, Manchester 1 goal down. If this continues, we got to be looking for Frankie Pietrangelo to be coming out of his net for that extra attacker.
18 games in domestic competition this year, and Manchester Storm have only lost once. That was up in Newcastle, on what was generally considered to be an off night for the Manchester Storm. That's quite a record. But the only team to have won here in this competition this season, Manchester Storm won here in the group stages by 3 goals to 2. Nottingham Panthers won the other 4 games that they had in the earlier stages of this competition in this building. Haddon bats the puck down, tried to turn it towards Zakuski. The Manchester defence, though, doing its job on that occasion.
The crowd yelling there, Steve. Again, a quick change by the Manchester Storm. Perhaps a Manchester player touching that puck, and too many men on the ice could have been the call.
The hustle and the bustle of the Nottingham side now, you'd never believe that they would have any problems now with tiredness. They're so full of life. They've got that spring because of the 2 goals they've got. But Manchester Storm will set them a real stern test in the remaining 5 minutes. Remember, a goal by Manchester Storm would take us into overtime if they get tired up at the end of the second leg. And the game is being played at such a pace. Boglio going down, making the check. Newmeyer. Shot, plenty of bodies around, and it's a tight rink, and so it's difficult for the netminders to see the puck. Lots of traffic out there. Now, Kolsar's going forward. Bobic is racing down to try and get there as well for a possible rebound. It didn't come. Kolsar can't go around in front. He can. Yes, Hunt! Went for the 5-hole, but the netminder fell on it, closed his legs, made sure he made the save.
Well, that is such a crucial save for the Manchester Storm, because they're pressing forward and they only had 1 defenseman back. It was ideally a 3-on-1 scenario. Kolsar getting the puck out in front. Simon Hunt looking for that 5-hole, which is probably his capable shot. And Frankie Pietrangelo coming up very big. Good save.
Manchester Storm just taking their time at the moment. There's the statistics for Frank Pietrangelo tonight. Been beaten 3 times, but on 39 shots, that's still a pretty good percentage.
He's had a lot of pepper on him this evening.
Nottingham getting the puck back into that zone again. They don't want to give up any chances now. The best form of defence is, of course, attack. They'll make sure their forecheck is working really hard to keep Manchester Storm pinned in there, and who knows, maybe come up with another chance to get a goal, which could just be the insurance goal that makes appearance in the final a certainty. This time they're happy just to play the puck all the way back down the ice. Manchester Storm, though, have some great offensive talent. They're going to throw everything forward now to try and get this game into overtime. Haddon just dumps it in low. quite happy to see a few seconds more come off the clock.
Well, Manchester having two guys high, Steve, but they're not able to get that puck out of their zone with any sort of momentum. So those guys are being nullified. They're just basically standing still there.
Zakuski's called for the trip. Zakuski on the forecheck. He tripped Newmeyer, and so now it's going to be a power play. A tripping call against Jared Zakuski. He goes to the bench, and Manchester Storm have 5-on-4 with 1:10 remaining on the game, and a goal on the power play would tie it up.
Well, there's the play. Zakuski getting the stick in the skates of Troy Newmeyer, and he picks up the tripping call just after we said that the referee would probably put his whistle in the pocket and not call anything in this period. Jamie Leach, just down below us, is just arguing a blue streak with Andy Carson about the call. You don't make that call in the latter stages of the third period. I'm sure that's what they're saying. Mike Blaisdell, he's got the call written on his forehead.
Well, it's unusual, but it was right in front of the referee, and it was fairly blatant. And there's a 10-minute misconduct penalty being called there as well against Greg Hadden.
That must have been on discussion with Andy Carson. So he now sits as well.
Well, at least that doesn't affect the strength of the side for Nottingham Panthers out there, so it's still going to be 5-on-4, but it is a real chance now for the Manchester Storm to get the goal back and take us into overtime.
Well, once that puck gets into Nottingham territory, I'm certain that you're going to see Frankie Pietrangelo leave the net, because that'll make it 6-on-4 out there.
Remember the quarterfinal when Cardiff against London had 6-on-3 and couldn't score, but Manchester will try everything to get the goal. It's all the way down the ice. Frank Pietrangelo is looking at Kurt Kleinendorf, wondering should he come off or not. If you can imagine what's going through his mind now, what does he do? At the moment, the face-off is in the Manchester zone, but as soon as it gets down the other end of the ice with 39 seconds on the clock, you can be sure Frank Pietrangelo will be racing. Important draw to win. Manchester do win it. This is Katola. Stefan Katola. Pietrangelo is leaving the net, and the call may get offside. Frank Pietrangelo has gone over to the bench. He's staying off as well. There's going to be a face-off in neutral ice. But the net stays empty.
Well, there's Frankie Pietrangelo. He's coming back out onto the ice, Steve. I think if that would have been a normal offside call, had it been just outside the defensive zone of the Nottingham Panthers, Frankie Pietrangelo would have stayed out of the nets. But here, it's too close, and of course, he's got to get back in there.
Well, on that last play, 8 seconds were wasted, and Manchester's opportunity on this power play. They're 5-on-4. The puck is back down. Pietrangelo just keeps it going. He's going to skate off the ice now, and this could be the last rush for Manchester Storm. Last throw of the dice. Katola is an empty net. It's turned way off target, in fact, but Pietrangelo will stay off the ice. We've just got 10 seconds left. The crowd are counting down already. Can Manchester Storm get a shot away? Rubicek. That's it. That's the end of the game. Look, Mike Blaisdell's on the ice. They can't believe it. They're hugging. What a win. All the tension that they felt throughout these two games. All the hard work they put in. And now it's evaporated in emotion and high spirits. They can't believe it. He's absolutely delighted.
I'll tell you, Mike Blaisdell, he looked like he was in good enough shape there. I'm certain that he felt that if he could have got out there and helped the guys, he certainly would have done it. On the other hand, it's written all over his face, Kurt Kleinendorf. What a successful start to the season that his team has had. And your desire gets them out of the finals of the Benson and Hedges Cup.
It's the repeat of the 1996 final then, Ayr against Nottingham. Gary Moran there, the general manager, hugging Mike Blaisdell, who's playing up to the crowd. Fantastic stuff. They came from behind, they did it the hard way. This is how Manchester Storm lost in Nottingham tonight. Manchester ahead 3-2 after the first game. They went 4-2 ahead with Jeff Tomlinson scoring the first goal of the night in the first period. Brent Bobbitt got the equaliser. And then in the third period, first of all, Jarrett Sikuski made it 2-1. And then 3-1 with a shot from Colsard, just tossing it in there. It's a victory for Nottingham Panthers. They're back in the final, and we can hear from the victorious coach down there with Nick Rothwell, Mike Blaisdell.
Mike, have we done this before?
Well, I don't know. I'm going to get more gray hair, and I'm going to lose it all soon. This is it's been a wild week.
The first thing you said to me was 13 skaters. We did this with 13 guys.
13 skaters, yeah. I mean, those guys work so hard again. I've never seen a team work so hard every shift, and lately we've just been sticking for each other, and great attitude. I've never seen a bunch of guys stick together like that, though. Very proud of them.
There's no question you had your hands full. Manchester, probably one of the most complete teams in the league.
Well, they got that first goal, and when you look at their first goal, it was a ricochet off about 2 skates, I think. And other than that, we closed them down pretty well, and that's a hell of a team over there. You know, they had 19 or 20 players dressed, and they're all good players, and, you know, an amazing accomplishment for us. And now we're going back where we belong, the Benson Hedges final.
As I was watching, I thought your major problem tonight was going to be solving Peter Angelo.
Yeah, he's a hell of a goaltender, and I thought our major problem would be fatigue in the third, but I've never seen anything like it. They just kept coming and coming. I mean, they're a bunch of fit guys, I'll tell you. They never seem to, they come to the bench, I think they're going to die. I think I'm going to have to give them some cardiac or something, and then they get back out and score a goal. I've never seen anything like it.
Are you going to give them the day off tomorrow?
Oh, you got it right. I'm going to have a day off myself.
Thanks a lot, Mike.
Thanks, Nick.
Mike Blaisdell and his Nottingham Panthers on the way to Sheffield again for a Benson and Hedges Cup final. We'll be there with you as well. It's on Sky Sports 2, Saturday, December the 5th, from 7 o'clock. The Benson and Hedges Cup final sees the defending champions, the Ayr Scottish Eagles, taking on the 2 times winners, the Nottingham Panthers. And before that, our next game for you is next Thursday, Sky Sports 2, 7:30, the Super League game at the new London Arena between the London Knights and the Newcastle River Kings. But here at the Nottingham Ice Stadium, it's been all about cup action. The Nottingham Panthers fought like lions, and I hope Manchester won't mind me saying it really was some cup semi-final. Bye-bye.